Yasas, I'm Chef Alexia, and today I'm gonna take you on a trip to Greece. I'm wearing my favorite apron from the island of Santorini, and right here it says Kalimera, which means good morning in Greek, because we're gonna make Tiropita. And Tiropita is basically a cheese pie that you could have for breakfast, for lunch, or just have as a snack around the house, or you could grab it every time that you get hungry. Very little ingredients here, so let me walk you through them. We have some feta cheese, which is the Greek national cheese. This pie can be made with any other cheeses, such as goat cheese or even mozzarella cheese. It's just gonna taste a little bit different. The next thing that I have here is a little bit of heavy milk. I have 3 eggs, and now if you use a cheese that is a little bit more hard, you wanna put a little less eggs. However, the eggs do make this cheese pie very fluffy. And then what I love to do is put some mint. You could put, instead of mint, some dill, some paprika, or just completely omit this flavoring. But I really like the mint because it just reminds me of my mother going to the garden, picking up the mint and just putting this in the cheese pie, and it's just my favorite thing as a kid. A little bit of pepper. We don't use any salt because the feta cheese is very salty. And then we also have a little bit of melted butter here and a little olive oil. Lastly, this is a pie, so we're gonna use phyllo dough. The first thing we want to do is actually beat the egg yolks. What it's gonna do is gonna help it fluff it up like a souffle. So once you crunch it into the crispy phyllo, inside is gonna be a very nice and soft filling that is very fluffy. This dish actually is made all over Greece. Every single family has their own recipe. So this is my mom's recipe. So we're gonna put the feta cheese. This is about 2.5 cups. You wanna either grate it or just crumble it up. And we're just gonna put it right in here. Perfect. And then we're gonna put the heavy cream. Now, instead of heavy cream, you could use yogurt, or you could use some milk, or even evaporated milk. My grandmother makes it with evaporated milk just because it was a little cheaper back in the day. So we're just gonna mix this together. And just as a reminder, the feta cheese is very salty. So we just wanna put a little bit of pepper here, just to give it some flavor, but no salt, okay? This is very important. So we're gonna mix this up. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna chop the mint that I have here. And in Greece, mint is actually called menta. Did you guys know that there's actually 80,000 words that are Greek in the English vocabulary? I dare you to actually open any of your books from school, and all of them within the first page, they will say, this started in Greece. And I don't wanna sound like a proud Greekster, but I am. And have you ever seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding? That one, if you remember, the father says, that is a Greek word, and that's where it comes from. Well, that's how my dad is, that's how I am, and we're very proud of our language. So that was the mixture, it was very simple. Now I'm gonna bring in a dish. So you just need a baking dish that we're gonna actually put butter in the bottom, because we just wanna make sure that the phyllo dough does not stick. So the beautiful thing about this phyllo dough is that back in the day, they used to make it by hand. So even my grandmother, what she used to do is open the phyllo so thin, it's like a paper. But because it's like a paper, it's extremely sensitive. So what I'm gonna do here is, first of all, I'm gonna remove the plastic. So this usually comes frozen. What you wanna do is make sure you thaw it out before you use it. The next thing you're gonna do is open up the phyllo. And this is very, very, very sensitive. So you wanna open it up, and while you are layering the phyllo in the baking sheet, you gotta keep these covered because they're so paper thin that they're gonna start drying out, and we don't want that. So we already buttered this, and we're gonna take another piece of phyllo here, just one piece of phyllo, and you're gonna put some of it in the bottom of the tray and the rest of it just hanging in the outside, all right? In the phyllo that is inside, we're just gonna brush it. So basically every single time that you're putting a phyllo, you wanna make sure that you brush it because this will create a very crispy phyllo. So every single layer is gonna be crisp, 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 cream, crisp, 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 Yummy. And that's why we love our cheese pies. So I'm just gonna make sure that I take another one, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Here we go. So you wanna make sure you go on the edges as well, and you put this batter. Now, I want you to also, when you're doing this, to just go from side to side. So we went one side, now we're gonna go to another, and you also wanna come right in the middle. So you wanna make sure there's a piece of phyllo just floating off in every side of the pan here. So I'm just gonna put a little bit more here. If you don't wanna use butter, you could use just olive oil. And I actually brought some extra olive oil here because I like to mix them half and half. So I'm gonna add a little bit more since I need more. And this is extra virgin olive oil from Greece. So for those of you that don't know, Greece is actually in Europe. It's very close. It's Italy is on the one side, Turkey is on the other. And then we have some borders with actually Albania, and there's some other Balkan countries over there. We're very well known because we have a lot of islands, and therefore you could go, every island is a little bit different. So everywhere you go, you will get a different type of culture. And just bring the phyllo in on top of the stuffing here to make sure that I don't destroy it. And now, depending on the size of the pan that you have, you could see how much of the phyllo that you need. All right, so let me teach you some Greek words. So the way we say kalimera, which is right on my apron, is kalimera, which means good day. And basically we're saying that by saying have a great day. Now, how do you say good night? You say kali nihta, because kali means still good. And then we have nihta, which is night, kali nihta. And then if you want to greet somebody, you're gonna say Γεια σου, τι κάνεις? Which means hello, how are you? And I love that. These things are very simple. You know what is the most difficult thing actually to say in Greek? I think Greek people don't want that to be said to them. I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's the word thank you. It is in Greek, ευχαριστώ. Good luck with that. I know. I know that it's very hard to say. Whenever people ask me, I'm like, you know what, just don't thank anybody in Greece when you go. Forget about it. It's like very tough. So whenever you want to say thank you and you don't remember the word, just go like this on your heart, and that just basically means thank you very much. And actually it's very, very well appreciated and very well received because it shows a lot of gratitude and a lot of being humble and just really being appreciative for what the other person did for you. All right, so what I'm doing here is I keep going with the pastry brush and the butter here, and I'm just putting layer by layer. So this takes you a little bit of time. If you see the mixing was extremely fast, what takes the longest is actually this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep some of these sheets because I don't wanna use all of them. This baking dish is a little bit smaller than even a half container. But even if you're doing just a regular sheet tray, half a sheet tray we call them in the restaurants, you want to make sure that you use the same amount of cheese. It's just going to be a little bit of a thinner layer, and that's fine. But again, you could use more cheese, less cheese, whatever you want. You could put less eggs, more eggs. The eggs just make it fluffy, but if you put less, you're just gonna have a little bit more of the feta cheese that is gonna come through, which is absolutely fine. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna finish it off. I put the last layer of butter, and it already has layer of layer of layer of layer. So we have at least 6 layers in the top and 6 layers in the bottom. I'm gonna go with my brush and just brush. I don't know if you guys could see this. I'm just gonna brush on the side of the pie to make sure that the edges go inside, because phyllo is so thin that when you put it in the oven, it could actually start flying away. So you gotta make sure that you secure it on the sides, and I love to actually use the brush that I have here because it's sensitive enough not to break it, and for some reason it just really helps it to get tucked in there and get very comfy. All right, what you want to do is actually take a paring knife and score it. So you want to score this, and the reason behind this is because the steam will start evaporating, so it's not going to crack when it's cooking. So I love to do this, and now we score it, and you're just gonna place it, and it's just like this. You're gonna place it in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you're gonna let it cook until it's brown on top. So usually that should be about 40 minutes, but I would just keep an eye from the 30 minutes on, just keep an eye every 5-10 minutes to make sure that it comes out right, because it does depend on your oven, and try to avoid to put the fan. But I'm not gonna let you go without seeing the finished result. I have prepared some small triangles already, like this. And if you actually do them, you could take this cheese pie and just put it in the freezer. The same thing with these little ones. Just make sure the top layer always has butter so it doesn't crack. All right, so it's time for us to see the truth. I want you to listen to it. Listen to the, oh yeah. Ooh, baby. Look at this tiropita. Oh my God. I want you to see inside how fluffy it is. I hope you could see this. And I love the scent of mint. I'm gonna give it a try just because that's what we do. Oh, and it's so crispy. Mmm. Just like gum. Mmm. It was such a pleasure to teach you about Greece, and I hope you take a trip there soon. You will feel such freedom, and just the sun and the sea will just rebirth your whole body and spirit. And I hope you make this cheese pie with your kids. I'm sure everybody will love it. Wow, what a delicious recipe. Make sure you take a picture and tag me at Chef Alexia on Instagram. Also, I would love if you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment below with a recipe that you would like to see next. See you in the kitchen next time.